DATV, and the Greater Dayton Area League of Women Voters present Meet the Candidate.
Hello, I am Andrea Bauer, a member of the League of Women Voters of the Greater Dayton area. I am here today with the candidates running for Riverside Council. The candidates are Mike Denning, Brenda Fry, Steve Gabby, Linda Patterson, and Angel Patterson. Steve Gabby, Frida Patterson, and Angel Patterson are unable to join us due to prior commitments. We will start our interviews by giving each candidate 1 minute to tell us about themselves and why they want to serve on Riverside Council. We will begin with Mike Denning, and why are you running to serve on Riverside City Council, and tell us a little about yourself. Mr. Denning.
Hi, my name is Mike Denning. I've been a resident of Riverside since 1979. I lived in Overlook for a few years. I moved up onto Arrow Rock. Then I went and got a divorce and ended up moving back to Overlook, and now I live on Schwinn Drive. So I've been throughout the community. I am heavily involved in the Riverside JCs, and community service is what I believe in, and I honestly believe that serving on city council is the highest level of community service that we can do, because we're representing all 24,430 residents of Riverside, and that is what I plan to do.
Thank you very much, Mr. Denning. And Brenda Fry, would you also tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running for Riverside Council?
Sure. My name is Brenda Fry. I am a 25-year resident of Riverside. I moved here when I started my family. I chose this community. I am a software developer by day, and my community involvement includes volunteering with Girl Scouts, and I coordinate the community blood drives that we have in our community. The reason I'm running for council is I believe that I bring a perspective that is long-term sustainability. What decisions are we making today that are going to impact where the community sits a generation, 2 generations down the road? I'm a strong towns advocate, and what that means is looking at the built environment and making sure that we're making choices when we build things that we can afford to maintain those things going forward.
Thank you, Ms. Fry. I will ask each candidate the same question. You will have 2 minutes to speak to each question, and then I will move on to the next candidate and give them 2 minutes to respond. The first question is, what do you see as the biggest challenges facing the city? And we will start with Mr. Fry, and Ms. Fry. And Brenda Fry, the question is, what do you see as the biggest challenge facing the city? Ms. Fry.
I would say the biggest challenge facing the city is our long-term sustainability. Right now, we have a budget deficit that we are working through. We have a need to address our residential roads. Several years ago, we entered into conversation with the community about how we would pay for a paving program for our residential roads. We tried to pass a road levy. We tried 3 times, and the community did not want to do it at that time. So in the meantime, we have not made any progress, and the roads do continue to deteriorate. I have asked my fellow council members to look at forming a citizen task force to engage the community and find out what we can do to address that problem At the same time, at the state level, there are changes that are being proposed to eliminate the current funding we already have in our general fund. That funding is through inside millage, and the proposal is to eliminate that completely. That would greatly set us back, and we have significant challenges if we don't have a way for people to get around. Obviously, that's something that we can't let continue to deteriorate, and so we need to face those challenges. We have one of the points of conversation is some of our building at Wright Point, and we continue to look for ways to make those a positive revenue source, and that's another challenge with these things.
Thank you very much, Ms. Fry. Mr. Denning, I will ask you the same question. What do you see as the biggest challenges facing the city? Mr. Denning.
Well, one of the largest challenges we have is people understanding how government works. The fact that we are basically the legislative body that makes the rules, and the city manager and the administrative staff are the ones that run the city day to day. And the other issue is people on social media run off with half the information or partial truths, and it turns into a bigger mess than what we already have. As Ms. Fry has already told you, our largest challenge is finances and trying to keep funding the services at the level we have and expand that if possible. But without more funding, it's virtually impossible to expand that unless folks are willing to give up services. And we can't do that at this point. Most of the income tax money that we take in goes to police and fire. We have a 2.5% income tax. 1.5% of that goes to police and fire. 1% goes to the general fund, and that includes that 1% also funds the streets and services department. Part of that 1% still goes towards police and fire. So finances is our biggest issue right now, and folks understanding exactly how our finances work is another issue that we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Denning. Our second question is, what should the City Council do to address the housing needs in the city? And we're going to begin with Mike Denning. Mr. Denning, what should the City Council do to address the housing needs in the city?
Well, I think we're addressing them right now. We have multiple developers. There's a development that is being worked on up on Northern Circle. There's a development down on Glendine, and there is a development coming in the Spinning Burkhart area. And so but all of these things take time and coordination and a special look at to make sure that it's going to fit with the rest of our city. The other place that we have is out on Union Schoolhouse, is called Redwood. They're coming, and those are all going to be reasonably priced. It's going to be market value housing, not Section 8 or anything like that. So these are all pluses. All that would be a plus for the city financially, because folks that can afford to pay rent or buy houses in those new developments would also be having income tax help fund the city, which would help pay for our police, fire, and eventually, hopefully, be able to do something with our streets. So I believe we are working towards that, but it takes everybody working together to make that happen. And we're already, we have what, 4 developments that are in the works right now. And if you build it, they will come, and that's what we're hoping for.
Thank you, Mr. Denning. And Brenda Fry, the same question. What should the City Council do to address the housing needs in the city? Ms. Fry.
I think increasing the number of houses that are available, the number of not even just single family homes, but other types of housing to, it'll solve 2 problems at once. It'll increase the available housing stock in the community, but then also it would allow for more taxpayers to live within our borders, and so that would reduce the tax burden on everyone else. One of the impediments to building more housing is our code. This is not a problem that's unique to Riverside. It's a problem that's all over. And one of the ways that we have addressed that problem is we've gone through a comprehensive zoning code rewrite. And we've looked at ways that we can right size our zoning code. So for example, we have homes in our community that are on a parcel of land that they could not build that same home on that parcel of land with our current code. The homes were built half a century or more ago, and with different laws at the time. We can't increase the housing stock if we can't build on our land. So looking at the zoning code, trying to find innovative ways to meet the needs that zoning code was trying to meet, while also making it easier for developers to build and also for homeowners to build on their own property. Even things such as an accessory dwelling unit would increase the housing stock and increase the homes that people can buy.
Thank you very much, Ms. Fry. The last question is, describe the skills and experiences that you will bring to the City Council. And we're going to begin with Brenda Fry. So what skills and experiences will you bring to City Council, Ms. Fry?
So a particular skill, I do tend to get in the weeds of a problem and try to understand it at a very intricate level. And like I mentioned before, I look at the long-term impacts of what our choices today will bring. Another perspective that I bring, I don't know if it's so much a skill, is that I believe that every council member brings a unique perspective, and that none of us have all of the answers, that it is through deliberation and talking to each other and listening, especially to what each other says, that's where we get our best answers. I really do believe that we are greater together than the sum of our parts, and that there is wisdom in the deliberation. I bring a perspective that is mutual respect, and I hope that everyone who's elected this cycle would bring that same perspective, so that we could work together and learn from each other and have good decisions as a result.
Thank you very much, Ms. Fry. And Mike Denning, describe your skills and experiences that you will bring to the City Council. Mr. Denning.
Well, I'm an engineer. I work on simulators at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and the way my brain works is plan your work and work your plan. And I think we've started doing that more as a city since I've been on council. Also, I was on the committee, the merger committee that merged Riverside and Mad River Township some 20 plus years ago. And so I bring the perspective of where we were and where we're heading and where we need to go to make this city better. I try not to dwell in the past and look forward to the future and what my children and grandchildren will live with in the future. So I bring some experience. The other thing I believe is God gave me 2 ears and 1 mouth. Therefore, I should listen twice as much as I talk. And if anybody knows me, I talk quite a bit. So I listen more. I listen to the other council members. I listen to the community and bring that perspective to council to make the decisions that we need to do. I may not personally believe in a particular point, but I look at what is the best for the majority of the community when we're making decisions for the future and for when we're changing our ordinances and things like that. Thank you.
Thank you. In closing, we would like to give each of you a minute for a closing statement, and we'll begin with Mike Denning. Mr. Denning, your closing statement.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for doing this. League of Women Voters, thank you for participating and making this happen. Brenda, thank you for participating. And I want to continue serving my community as the best that I can. My phone is always on, and I will more than willing to listen to anybody. And so please vote for me in November. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Denning. And Brenda Fry, your closing statement.
Well, thank you to the viewers who've taken time out of your lives to watch this discussion. I appreciate that you're educating yourself prior to making your voting decision. I'm excited that this is a contested race. I think that the citizens are best served when they have choices. It does no one any good when you just have to accept what's provided and you don't have a choice in the matter. So I'm grateful for that. Like I mentioned before, I'm just looking to think strategically about the long term and address any long-term fiscal challenges that we have. That is my goal, and I hope you'll remember me in November.
Thank you, Ms. Fry. And thank you both for participating today. Good luck with your campaigns. The League of Women Voters encourages all candidates to run an issues-oriented campaign. Our goal is to educate the voting public and to strengthen our elective political process. The annual Voter's Guide will be distributed beginning the first week of October in the Dayton Daily News, the AIM Media suburban newspapers, and at local libraries, schools, and businesses. Early voting for the upcoming election begins October 7th at your Board of Elections, or you can request an absentee ballot. However you decide to vote, your opinion matters and helps make our democracy work.